What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight Breaux, and today I'm reviewing Graduation Day from 1981. I'm doing the 80s slasher summer reviews. That means I'm going to review as many 80s slasher flicks as I can, all the way to the end of August. So subscribe and stay tuned for a ton of super fun slasher talk right here on the channel. Also, check out the social media pages, Johnny Blacklight Breaux on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X, as well as subscribing at the main spot right here on YouTube. On the socials, I'll be posting up my reviews, plus lots of old school nostalgia stuff, sneak peeks at some stuff from my physical media collection, lots of movie talk, and more. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So first things first, the plot synopsis. After a high school track runner named Laura suddenly dies from a heart attack after finishing a race, a killer wearing a sweatsuit and a fencing mask begins killing off her friends on the school track team one by one. I've always dug this one quite a bit since first seeing it years ago. A pretty fun little slasher flick, and has always been one of my favorites when it comes to the standalone, non-franchise horror flicks. I dig the character of Anne, Laura's sister. She's a pretty strong character, and plays a good red herring, an eventual final girl later on in the film. Her interaction with the sleazy truck driver at the beginning of the film is some pretty fun stuff, showcasing her no-nonsense attitude towards things, and her lack of fear and whatnot. Pretty solid character building with her right from the start. This kind of character building continues with her interactions with her stepfather, who's a real jerk by the way, and she handles it in a pretty cool way. That again showcases the type of character she is here. She does kind of disappear for a bit around the middle of the film, but that does help to add to the mystery of what could be going on here, with the rest of the track team being taken out one by one. I dig the pacing here. This one gets pretty much right into it with the kill scenes, doesn't waste a whole lot of time, and moves along with a pretty steady pace throughout. For an early 80s slasher, it's pretty cool how they had the awareness to keep the kills pretty frequent, and not give us too much downtime in between the action here. That always really helps to keep me invested in the flick and the story as a whole. And it doesn't have that vibe that some have where you kind of forget you're even watching a slasher flick after a while. The steady pace helps to remedy that quite a bit here with this one. I also dig the cast overall, and some pretty decent acting for an early 80s low-budget slasher flick. Vanna White of Wheel of Fortune fame has a small part here, and that's cool to see, as well as Scream Queen Linnea Quigley, and one of my favorite horror dudes, Christopher George, who plays Coach Michaels here. I totally dig him in classics such as Grizzly, Pieces, and one of my all-time favorites, the Italian nightmare logic masterpiece, City of the Living Dead. Man, I love that movie. Such a fun little flick with so many nasty practical effects. I also dig the Beyond when it comes to the Gates of Hell trilogy, but in recent years my love for City of the Living Dead has grown so much. Anyway, I digress. Back to Graduation Day. But yeah, man, we definitely lost Christopher George way too soon, passing in 83, right at the prime horror time, man. But yeah, he's also solid in this. Not as legendary as his role in something like City, but a solid addition to the cast here, that's for sure. I dig the look of the killer here quite a bit. Nowhere near as iconic as some of our classic villains like Freddy, Jason, or Michael, but the fencing mask is a pretty good idea for a high school setting, and gives a pretty creepy vibe as well. Same with the sweatsuit. Totally fits the high school sports aesthetic, and just works so well with the mask and the overall setting here. I dig it. I love the rough around the edges, gritty nature of the film overall. It's definitely not a perfect film. We get some plot holes, hit and miss acting moments, and stuff like that. But I feel like it's got that old school 80s slasher charm that I'm always hoping for when popping these kind of flicks on. The band Felony plays the song Gangster Rock, and it feels like it might never end. That's intertwined with a pretty fun chase scene and kill, but that's the kind of over-the-top stuff that sticks with me in these things. The kills can be a bit blink and you miss them, and some are pretty much off-screen, but the ones that definitely stand out to me would be the kill with the football with the long skinny blade attached to it. Pure sports slasher charm right there. The high jump guy coming down and landing on hidden spikes in the mat, classic, and gives us some pretty brutal imagery here. That one definitely stands out for me. A swift beheading scene out in the wooded area works well here too. A fun old school practical effect and solid shot here in this one. And my favorite has always been the fencing sword through the neck of the girl at the sink in the locker room. For some reason that specific scene has always stuck with me. And although it's a quick one, I think it works well here. And some brutal, mean-spiritedness comes through with that one, at least for me. The way this one wraps up in the final act really drives home the creepiness here, with the killer finally revealed and the confrontation with Anne and Kevin, Laura's boyfriend who basically went completely mad after the death of Laura. and started picking everyone off here one by one. I also dig how he ends up putting the blame on the coach for a bit. Another fun little red herring moment here. But ultimately gets found out by Anne when she goes to his place to find the body of Laura in his freaking room, all dressed up for the graduation. The effects on the body are genuinely creepy. The way they did the eyes is super unsettling and really weird. And I also like how we see some more aftermath during their confrontation, seeing other victims along the way, or what's left of them. After it's all said and done, Kevin is killed, and Anne's back at home. We get a nice little fake out where she's envisioning Kevin coming into her room, but it turns out to be her drunken jerk of a stepfather. The mom switching the light on and the instant change from Kevin to the stepfather worked really well for me. I thought that was a cool little creepy touch to end on here. But yeah, like I said, overall, I've always dug and had a ton of fun with Graduation Day. Definitely not perfect, but I dig the old school charm it carries. The gritty, rough around the edges vibe, the assortment of kill scenes throughout. The killer's get up is pretty fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out if you're a slasher enthusiast and never got around to this one. Not going to rank super high due to some lackluster aspects here and there, but there's definitely some stuff here worth checking out, I'd say. So I think that's going to do it for the review. Stay tuned and subscribe to check out some more 80s slasher reviews throughout the rest of the summer. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm doing an 80s slasher summer theme for my reviews from now throughout August. I've got lots more 80s slasher reviews coming up very soon. After the summer, we'll definitely dig into some other films and stuff outside of the 80s slasher sphere. I'm not totally sure if I'll keep a theme going or just review and talk about some random stuff, but I'll figure it out. Also, if you're into cryptids, creepy Reddit stories, UAP footage, analog horror, and whatnot, check out my other channel, Johnny Blacklight, and feel free to subscribe and check out some of those videos. The support is always massively appreciated. Again, stay tuned for more 80s slasher summer reviews and whatever comes next. Always keeping it fun and full of retro goodness over here, that's for sure. But yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe for more, y'all have a good one, and I'll see ya next time.